Hey, what's going on? My name is Big Don, and this is Big Politics Explained by a Big Guy. And here today, we're going to be talking about the murder of Renee Good that happened on the 7th of January, and try to look purely objectively at what happened, and then form opinions, and then tell you how I interpret this, and maybe give you tools to form your own opinions on this matter. So, get my notes out here. What happened? According to the BBC, which is a very center leaning, very highly factual news station that was reviewed by multiple independent fact checkers, Minneapolis, of course, having recent protests surrounding ICE, Renee was there as a legal observer to the protest, which is a volunteer who monitors police and security forces at protests, according to several state leaders of Minnesota. In the video of her death, which has been spread all over the internet at this point, she appears to be driving her Honda Pilot, this maroon-colored Honda Pilot, which is scarily the same car that I drive. I drive an older one, but waving cars past her as she was perpendicular in the roads. I can't seem to find why she was stopped in the road, but again, judging by the footage, it appears ICE apprehended her or told her to stop. And so as she is waving cars on, a gray pickup truck comes on with police lights going, and it comes right up to the left of her and stops in the middle of the road. Two ICE officers get out, one of which, the driver, says, "Get out of the car, get out of the fucking car now," as he's walking up to her door, and then yanks on her driver's side door to try and, yank her out of the car. She turns her wheel all the way to the left. She reverses her car backwards this way, so now she's facing more away from the officer that was trying to yank on her door. And then she's cutting her wheel to the right, and as she's doing that, she puts the car in drive. And then, as she is trying to drive away on the slick, snowy ground, the officer that was already on scene, who had gone around the passenger side of the vehicle and was now right in front of the driver's side headlight, opened fire on her as she was fleeing. All right, so something else that I wanted to mention here real quick is this is the exact frame that the bullet hits the windshield and the glass goes everywhere, and that's that cloud that you see in front of it. So you can kind of see right here, not very well because this first officer is blocking him, but you can see his feet in the middle of this officer, and you can see how they are very clearly to the left of this car, which is currently going right. So this officer is not in present danger because he is not in a present threat of being run over by this car because he is out of the path of the car. There is no possible way that this guy gets hit by the car. And considering that it is already accelerating to the right, there is zero possibility that he would have gotten hit with this car. And so once he is out of the way of the vehicle, not in very present danger, he then pulls his service pistol out while he's recording on his cell phone, and he then shoots her 3 times directly in the face. Once she did that, and she was shot in the face, she eventually crashed into a parked car on the left side of the road. According to multiple reports that I have seen, ICE actually blocked an ambulance from getting to her for about 15 minutes, and by the time she got to the hospital, she was long past gone. She was dead and had been for multiple minutes, probably since he shot her. Members of the left and the right alike have both said that this was wrong. One of the people who lives right next to the shooting location said himself that he leans pretty right, said that this was horrible, wrong, and that it forever changed his life having seen it firsthand. The government, however, has been painting a picture of Renee that makes her into a criminal, going so far as for Kristi Noem to call her a domestic terrorist and Trump to call her a radical left lunatic. And to point this out, for one, based on the video, she is in no way a domestic terrorist. There is absolutely nothing that justifies her being even classified as a terrorist, period, more or less a domestic terrorist. But for two, she was also not left-leaning. She was pretty heavily Christian, and most Christians, just statistically speaking, are not left-leaning. Most Christians are right. She had been, again, very devoutly Christian, had gone to Northern Ireland for a mission when she was younger, and her ex-husband, who just said both of those things about her being a devout Christian and going to Ireland, had said that she was also not in any way, shape, or form an activist. She went to college. I believe she studied creative writing or some sort of like writing degree. Again, I don't believe in my eyes that she posed a threat to basically anybody, especially because the officer that was in front of her car stepped out of the way of her car and then proceeded to shoot her. So, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, of course, condemned the killing heavily and went as far as putting the Minnesota National Guard on high alert in preparation to kick out ICE from the state capitol. Walz already did not want anyone of ICE to be in the Capitol, but it seems that this is the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, for my thoughts and some facts on the matter. According to the Department of Justice's policy on the use of force, numbered 1-16.200-A, deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject. And now if you think, oh, well, she wasn't fleeing, she was actively trying to assault that officer. For one, you need to watch the video again, because that is not what happened. That is not what, anyone saw, pretty much, except for you and other people who think that, or people that have been told to think that. I don't know, you just need to look at it again and maybe sharpen your cognitive skills a little bit, because they're lacking. And according to the very same paragraph right after the one that I just read, firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles. Specifically, firearms may not be discharged at a moving vehicle unless, 1, a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. What that means is an ICE officer cannot legally shoot someone unless they have a means of deadly force besides the car that they're driving, because a car is deadly force. It is a however many 1,000-pound bullet, basically. Running someone over can kill them. That's not that hard to understand, right? But what this says is basically that if someone is just driving their car, then they cannot shoot them unless, 2, the vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death or serious physical injury to the officer or others, and no other objectively reasonable means of defense appear to exist, which includes moving out of the path of the vehicle. You cannot shoot someone if they are in their vehicle and they have no other means of deadly force besides the vehicle, and you can get out of the way of the vehicle or in some other way disable the vehicle so that you do not have any physical harm or death to you or any one of the officers that you are with. Based on that, the shooting of Renee Good was not justified at all. The officer was clear out of the path of her. The vehicle was moving away from the officer. He was in no present danger, and based on that and the Department of Justice's policy that I just read and explained, this is in no way justified. I don't care if she was smoking meth and driving at the same time. Shooting her goes against the policy that the Department of Justice has outlined for ICE, and that is illegal. So, if this somehow is ruled as legal, like Kristi Noem is saying, or trying to, lay groundwork for and justifying, then this is once again one of the many illegal things that Trump and his regime have done. And if anything happens of it, I will be shocked, but I hope it does, for the sake of the law and for the sake of morality. The governor of Minneapolis, I forget his name, but there's clips of him going around saying, "To ICE, get the fuck out of Minneapolis," and that is great. That is raw. It is uncensored. It is what needs to be said. There is no reason that ICE should be in there, and once again, things like this are happening because ICE is there and they are doing things that are illegal because they don't have adequate training. I commend also Tim Walz, the governor of the state of Minneapolis, or not Minneapolis, Minnesota. There we go. I commend Tim Walz as well because he is deploying the National Guard against ICE if they do not leave on their own. Because again, this is not something that he ordered. This is not something that he wanted. This is something that Donald Trump has forced into the city of Minneapolis and that he does not want. And obviously, it is creating more problems than it is solving. And therefore, ICE should leave Minneapolis and any other city that they have no business being in or are not wanted in. That is my thoughts and my opinions. I hope that this regime comes to an end one day, and that is that. I hope you enjoyed. Stick around because there's probably going to be a lot more of these really bad and really fucked up events happening that I'm going to explain. I already delve into politics enough, and this is my way of, getting some of that steam out. So I hope you enjoyed. See you later.